Our topic, we assigned a topic entitled the Anglo-Saxon period. So that is the people of the Anglo-Saxon period. As you can see, there is differences of their outfits. There are weapons, there are armors, and a lot of colors that shows to that pictures. So the Anglo-Saxon started in 449 to 1016 before Christ. So before we proceed formally to our discussion, let's have the objective first. Everyone kindly read. At the end
of the lesson, the learner shall be able to describe what the Anglo-Saxon life was, share a view of the literature and its significance to history, illustrate the highlights of the events during Anglo-Saxons, and contribute to the growth of literature.
Okay, thank you so much. I hope that we can achieve that. 30 goal. So this picture shows the timeline of Anglo-Saxon 449 to 1016 before Christ. So before, as Sir Kim discussed his last meeting, that the island of England invaded by the Celts and the Roman occupation before the invasion of the Anglo-Saxon. So the year that invaded the Celts in the Britain is 300 before Christ, and the Roman occupation is 55 before Christ to Anno Domini. AD stands for Anno Domini, and 409. The spread of Christianity is established by the Roman and then continued by Anglo-Saxon invasion. So now let's proceed to the prehistorical and pre-Roman period. So the pre-Roman period, there is two groups of Celts. These are the Britons. They actually settled on the largest island of Britain, while the Gael is the second type of the Celts settled on the second largest island of known to as the Ireland. As you can see, there is the orange color shows the Norway, and in the Denmark, later on we will discuss that one, the England, Scotland, and the Ireland. Since there is the invasion of Celts, there is also the Roman period. So, are you remember what is the important or the most important that established by the Roman rule? Do you remember what is the religion that established by the Roman?
Christianity.
Yes, Christian. The Christian is very important in that certain time. The Anglo-Saxon history. Kindly read everyone.
Anglo-Saxon England was born over forever a military society and came to its end in battle. This period is traditionally known as Dark Ages. It is the time of war, the breaking up of Romans and to separate kingdoms of religious conversation.
Do you have an idea why the Anglo-Saxon considered as the Dark Ages in that certain period? I know that it was discussed by our instructor last Yes, that is religion of Christianity. However, there is behind that reason why the Anglo-Saxon considered as the Dark Ages, or the other term for that is the migration period. Migration period because the Anglo-Saxon migrate to the island of England. So there is a war. There is a war to that period. And also there is the violence, the barbarism. Do you know that what is barbarism? The barbarian. Huh? Barbarian. Yes, there was more barbarian. That is considered as I think person considered person.
Yes, person.
A person barbarian. Barbarism, the violence.
Yes, vibration.
The person. Barbarism. And then that war breaking up of Roman Britannia into several separate kingdoms of religious conversation. So later on we will discuss that in the other reporter. So why is where did the Anglo-Saxon came from? Since we are discussing already the history of Anglo-Saxon. Where do you think is the Anglo-Saxon came from? Miss Natasha, do you remember Germany? Mr. Perez?
Anglo-Saxon.
Yes, where do you think is the Anglo-Saxon came from? Germany.
England.
Scandinavia.
Scotland.
What?
Scandinavia.
Yes, that is one of the countries. Scandinavia, but
Which
this is already the country that Anglo-Saxon came from. Can you read everyone?
The Anglo-Saxons ruled in northern Germany, Denmark, the Netherlands, and rode across the North Sea in wooden boats to Britain.
Yes, and Anglo-Saxon came from Germany, Denmark, Netherlands, or Scandinavia, or Holland, country of Holland. The Anglo-Saxon, the important events of Anglo-Saxon. There is three groups or the tribes of Anglo-Saxon period. These are the Angles, the Saxons, and the Jutes that came from the Germanic tribes, invade from Baltic shores of Germany. So there are different weapons and armors that they wore in that period. So look, there is a differences to that three tribes when it comes to their armors and weapons. So the Anglo-Saxon society, the highly organized tribal units or the kingdoms, each tribe ruled by a king chosen by a council of elders, the Witan. So the royal family is one of the highest rank of the Anglo-Saxon period. So the royal family is the one who ruled to the following nobility. So the major nobility is those who are considered as those mans, the council leaders who also followed the rules of the royal family, and then followed by minors. These minors are what we call by the military, one of the right hand of the royal family, and then magpaano sila follow sila if they have good services to the royal family, and then they will go to the next rank, which is the major nobility, and then followed by the women. Women, do you have an idea what is a women? Women, people of women.
Yes, wala siya ginaproduce sa
What?
Ginaproduce
Yes, sampa? Wala. Women. Sabi na, dili lang mag-load sa mga Philippines, kahit you have an idea about the word. Based on your presentation, I think women is those are the merchants or businessmen. Yeah. country, they also have they will not rent or pay the land, but they given privilege from the royal family to have that land that they are live in. So the last one is the serf, or the other term to that is slave. One, Ante.
I think serfs are those are the people under the agricultural labor.
Agricultural, yes, there is so the serf is the other term to that slave, or those people, yes, those people who have a low rank or low profile or low status to that certain country. They don't have access, they don't have the right to they don't have the right to decide what they are going to do to that certain place. So they only need to follow the higher rank of that the family of the royal family. The other significant events of the Anglo-Saxon history is the New Land or the Anglican. The Anglican is at first they have the small tribal kingdoms and then no written language because the only priests or those in knowledge Scott. Scott is the poet to that time. So they other people, most people or those have a low profile don't have a chance to have a written language and then supported themselves through farming and hunting. So the England in that time is have only have the advantage or the advantage of farming and hunting because they don't have any source of living. The Anglo-Saxon kingdoms eventually became the Anglo-Saxon heptarchy, the Kent, the Essex, the Sussex, the East Anglia, the Northumbria, Mercia, and the Wessex. So those are the 7 kingdoms of the Anglo-Saxon period. So this is the map of the kingdoms of Anglo-Saxon period. So this the biggest one is the Northumbria, and then followed by Wales, Mercia, Wessex, and those is have a small island, Sussex, Hastings, Essex, London. London is the capital of England, and then East Anglia. Then they are surrounded by the bodies of water. So that is the 7 kingdoms of Anglo-Saxon. Everyone can read.
In the early history of the country, the Anglos were dominate. Their settlement or kingdom became known as Angloland or England, and its people came to be called English. Modern scholars employ the term Anglo-Saxon to refer to the people and culture of this period in English history.
Okay, so the Anglo-Saxon is one of the foundation of the modern English, or what we call the literature. So what is the impact of the Anglo-Saxon in today's world, since this is the foundation of our language, second language, which is English language. So what is the impact of Anglo-Saxon in today's period? You have an idea? Because we are always studying the literature and also the history of the Anglo-Saxon period. The Anglo-Saxon or the Old English is the other term of Anglo-Saxon. Wala. What is the impact of the Anglo-Saxon in today's literature or in today's period? You miss something that? I think you have an idea to that. So the impact of the Anglo-Saxon in considered as the references or our basis to have an idea about the literature about the English or the Old English language. Modern scholars employ the term Anglo-Saxon to refer the people and culture of this period in English history. So there is a big impact, a great impact of the Anglo-Saxon in today's world because if there is no occurrence of the Anglo-Saxon in history, maybe we don't have the English language in the present or in the contemporary world. So I guess that is all my part, and then I will pass it to Brian. Oh no, Brian Pasias. Thank you for listening.
Brian kind, Brian. Go on, Brian. Jan, thank you.
Okay, good afternoon everyone. Good afternoon. So my topic is all about Anglo-Saxon history. Okay, the Danish invasion. Please read it.
In the 790s, a new group of invaders, the Danes, also known as the Vikings, began to devastate the flourishing culture in which King Alfred the Great was able to resist the first invasion. He was a strong proponent of learning and education. He oversaw the writing of the Anglo-Saxon Chronicles, which recorded early English life.
Thank you. So after Saint Austin bring the Christianity of England, there's a new invaders which they call the Vikings. And the Viking was very aggressive. So in this time, King Alfred the Great, King Alfred the Great was the leader of the Anglo-Saxon. So King Alfred was trying to stop the Vikings, but the Vikings at that time was very powerful. So they retreat and they leave the England country. Where did they go? They go at the Normans. So, who were the Vikings? Aside from they known as the sea travelers, pirates, yes. Okay, Vikings didn't have a single country, nationality, government, or politics. So the Vikings didn't have any state of their lives. They just live classic. So Viking is from Scandinavia, which includes the country of. So Scandinavia includes Denmark, Finland, Sweden, Norway, Iceland, and the last one is Greenland. So Vikings are not Christians, else they follow their religions, pagans. You know what is the pagans, right?
You don't believe in God.
Yes. In our generation, they call it atheists. Yes. Okay. Even though Vikings are travelers, they know how to farm, craftsmen, and tradesmen. Also, they are merchants because they were a sea travelers, right? So that they are merchants. Despite that, they always travel in different countries. But even though they know that, raids or invader were still essential part of their life. because they live in the North Pole, and we know that North Pole had a short season of their country, so that that place was very poor, so that they need to go by the other country to survive. So Vikings played sports and board games. So even though they are they even though they are just like a barbarian, but they also know how to play. But those games is part of their activities as a fighter. Okay. Vikings also advanced in shipbuilders on Europe. So in Europe, Vikings is very popular. Their boat can travel rivers, land beaches, and rough oceans. So expected that their boat is durable. Okay. So summary na lang. So when Vikings tried to invade England, Anglo-Saxon was retreat and they go to the Normans or the French country. Okay, please read the next.
The Norman Conquest. France adopted the Franks language, religion, laws, customs, political organization, and methods of warfare. To become Franks in all but name, they were now known as Normans, men of Normandy. By 1042, the Danes were out of power in England, and Edward the Confessor, the last Anglo-Saxon ruler, was on the throne.
So King Alfred the Great was passed away because the Vikings lived in Norman in three decades or 30 years. So expected that King Alfred was patay na. So there's another king of Anglo-Saxon during that time, which is Edward the Confessor. So, hindi si Edward Confessor, nangayo siya tabang sa Norman, which leaded by William Duke. So, si William Duke is a leader of military in the Norman. So, when he tried to, nangayo siya tabang, of course, ang Norman nag-response. So, they back to the England with the Normans. So, buwan na sila ka-pukpok. And they tried to invade again the Vikings. But even though the Vikings was, gamay lang, nag-isod sila pildig. But suddenly, they defeated the Vikings. And by the time that the Anglo-Saxon is, nalaglasan na siya ng mga tao, so that the Norman conquest is ginabalak siya ba? Nagbabalak siya ng masama, char. And because it is the advantage of the Normans, because the Anglo-Saxon was already tired and they had lack of soldiers. So, gitiwasan nila si Anglo-Saxon. Napili nila si Anglo-Saxon. That's why si Norman or the French was the new owner of the England. Okay, so wait. Norman is opposite to the Vikings because Norman had a permanent country, nationality, and politics, which is Malakay Vikings. Okay, next. So, Anglo-Saxon religion. They offered no hope on an afterlife. So, kahit kung wala tayo, they didn't believe hell, right? So, kahit kung sa lang may pero ka, hindi ka nakamantog langit. Siya. Valued earthly virtues of bravery, loyalty, generosity, and friendship. Similar to what we call Norse mythology or God mythology. Norse mythology or Scandinavian mythology. So, Norse God. First is Odin. So Odin is the god of both war and death. He is one eye and who sacrifices eyes in order to see everything that happens in the world. So Odin is karang bulog siya. Bulog. Thor. Okay, god of war and fertility. He can awaken thunder and lightning. You know what's fertility? Everyone, fertility.
Yes.
What is fertility? Yes.
Best in Alexander.
Mr. Calvo, what is fertility?
Don't try.
Number of death. Fertility is number of death. Okay, number of death. So, let's proceed to the Anglo-Saxon god, which is, one is Odin. So, you can see Odin, they're just like the same power, but in different country. So, Odin is a principal of all gods. And Thor also is usually associated with thunder, lightning, and storms. So, Wednesday, the origin of Wednesday is from Odin. And the origin of Thursday is from Honor. Okay, take note. Anglo-Saxon religion. They came to Britain with their own pagan belief. They had a firm belief in faith. They worship ancient Germanic gods like Chu. Druid. God of war and sky. Odin, chief of the gods, and Freya, Odin, wife and goddess of the home. So that's all. Thank you for listening and
Yung paper na ako
Wala.
yung
Super man ka.
Relax man sila. Everyone, so my topic is all about the contribution of Anglo-Saxon. Can you please read the first paragraph?
Anglo-Saxon literature or Old English literature encompasses literature written in Anglo-Saxon Old English during the 600-year Anglo-Saxon period of Britain from the mid-5th century to the Norman conquest of Denmark.
So the Anglo-Saxon made significant contribution to the English literature from both in terms of form and content. So this work includes general, so muna ang mga genre sa Anglo-Saxon period. We have epic poetry, geography, sermons, Bible translations, legal works, and chronicles and journals. So they also introduced a new poetic genres, which includes the epic poem, elegy, and the riddle. So they also developed the oral tradition, which means that with Anglo-Saxons, we have the epic poem, which is the Beowulf. So I know some of you guys know the story of Beowulf, which tells the story of the Geatish warrior, which is Beowulf, who defeated the monster called Grendel and his mother. We have also the elegy. Elegy is elegy means a song or a poem that expressing sorrow, especially from the someone who is namatay na. So we have here the wonder, which expresses the longing of the exile for his homeland. So iyahang kamino sa iyahang homeland. Then we have the riddle or the Exeter Book Riddle 24, which is the clearer and challenging puzzle about the book. So Anglo-Saxon literary are notable for its vivid imagery, alliteration, and kennings, or when we say kennings, it is metaphor. So these literary devices help us to create senses of excitement and drama of stories. Also, Anglo-Saxons produce new vocabulary or new words such as book, candle, knife, and sky. And then, some additional contribution of Anglo-Saxon is they introduce the concept of vernacular literature, which means that the literature is written in the language of the people rather than the Latin. So also they develop a strong traditional storytelling. Second is they also have a variety of themes, such as heroism, love, loss, and meaning the life. And overall, the Anglo-Saxon main significant overall, Anglo-Saxon main significant contribution to the English literature and language. So their works is also studied up until today by some of the poets and writers, and also some of the people enjoy the works all over the world, and also they influence some of the poets and writers up to this day. That's something. Ayan, ayan ni. Oh. So good afternoon, everyone. So my topic is all about the core literary pieces in this era. So which is the Old English poetry. In Old English poetry, there is two types, which is the heroic, Germanic, the Christian, and the Christian. It has survived for the most part in four manuscripts. So the first manuscript is called the Jewish manuscript, also known as the, pronounce this one. Manuscript, which is an illustrated poetic anthology. So this manuscript is contained of mga biblical content. Yes, biblical content, which is Genesis, Exodus, Daniel, and Christ, and Satan. So there is no particular, there is no panakabatan ay among pang-author ani ba? Kumbaga, ang nagwa na ani is ang collector ani is si kanang so isa sa mga collector ani is wala dyan nakapanan ni ba kanya then the prominent person in this era didn't know who is the yes anong pagyapon ang author ani. So ang collector ani is si Jewish Jewish Jews recognized the value of these old English texts play a crucial role in ensuring their preservation for future generations. So, yes, as you guys observed na akadyakan siya, it is because of these collectors. His interest in linguistic and early Germanic language led him to collect and transcribe these texts, which are now considered vital sources for the study of Old English literature and culture. His work in preserving and cataloging the manuscript made this Old English text accessible to scholars and researchers, contributing to our understanding of early medieval England literary heritage. So this is one of the most vital literary pieces in that era because karon, yes, nagamit siya ko na siya sa ating mga studies, di ba? Yes, importante siya sa, especially sa ating mga. Okay, the next one is the second manuscript is called Exeter Book. Exeter Book also an anthology located in the Exeter Cathedral since it was donated there in the 11th century. So Exeter Book by Israel Bulam. By Israel Bulam is the largest Exeter book of English writing dating from the 10th century. It is also notable for its diversity from Old English poetry. The Exeter book contains religious and secular poems placed side by side with riddles written in novels extender that will make you blush. So, di ba ang Old English mga before is mahilig sila of riddles. So, ginaingon nila ang riddles, especially sa ilang kanang magtakot-takot, especially sa ilang fiesta. So, gaingon sila of riddles for them to kanang labot ang mapatutok sa ilang mga kanang yes, mga pansila sa una. And then, hindi say, pag muna itong double extender, mo na siyang gitawag nga kanang a word or phrase that has two meanings, one of which is rude and other one is sexual. For example, dito, agana is ha. So, there are siya duha ka meaning, which is si Atena ka nagsimot or either ha, sexy, just like that. Mo na siyang gitawag nga kanang double extender. So, especially sa the Exeter book, wala diyang pinakabalo inside author. Wala diyang pinakabalo of specifically publish ani ba specific date and especially the author. So ang kwento dyan po nani ang kanang collector ni Apple is Sister Israel. Oh, katong si Pagina. So the Anglo-Saxon love riddles. This book contains Anglo-Saxon riddles, also that is great charms, zest, and subtlety. They tell each other riddles as well as listening to poems of other best and read them down so they able we can be kanang mabasa na ko kung ba dili na sa online oh yes to preserve their something literary pieces. So Sir Israel Bulam was a scholar of early English literature. He was a professor of English language and literature literary at King College in London. So the third one is the first light book, a mix of poetry and prose. How it became to be versed in Italy, no one knows, and as a matter of debate. So ang personal book is just like I said earlier, so kani siya mga manuscript, all of them are ang gagawin lang until now is ang mga collectors and no one knows who are the specific author of this kind of literary pieces. So in ang personal book, as far as based on my research, so ang personal book is kanang nakuha siya ba kanang bitaw nagamit siya to partially fire in wala siya na dagdagan o kanang
Yes, wala siya pinagdaan ng weakness. So, naka-jump siya until now, but ang wala siya, ang libro na is kanang nanay something like, di na siya kanang mabasa ba, but naka-jump siya kanang kung pagkakuha na siya ba, kanang collection na kagaling siya, and wala pa'y particular na kanang, wala pa'y particular na kanang, ano na siya sa may tawag ito, publish, i-reprint or i-republish. Okay, nakatanaw kaya siya na susunod. So the fourth manuscript is called Novel Codex. Also a literature of poetry and prose. So, Novel Codex by Lawrence Novel. So, di-jump ko siya, wajang ko particular author, o wajang ko kanani na author. So, the Novel Codex, also known as Boton Videlius, is a manuscript that contains several old English texts. So, example is Joseph, the life of Saint Christopher, the wonder of the edge, the letter to Alexander to Aristotle. So, including Nabilong author as a Novel Codex. It is a name after the former author Lawrence, honor an antiquarian and scholar of English. The Novel Codex is an important literary history document that provides insight into early literature and culture. So, just like I said, kanin dyan sila tuloy ay opat kaning upat, wala sila particular na kanang, wala pa yung nakabalong din sa author, wala pa yung nakabalong, wala sa siya i-publish, but then, naa siya mga kanang collector ba, para sa kanila, yung nila, Israel, and then, the other, so, what did I say? Until now, anonymous ang iyang mga authors. So dili na sa the four kanang mga known na mga authors or the poets. So the first one is page 1. So page 1. So the meaning of that name was given by the Anglo-Saxons, means wise, warrior, or song. So ginano siya as an illiterate poet and one laborer. He lived in the Abbey of in Northumbria in the 7th to 8th century. So he is also known as the father of English verse. Because that's why he was known for that honor or because he has the ability to compose verse came to him in a dream one night to compose a poetry of praise of God. But before that, so the illiterate poet, it is because one siya able to read and write because he's just a farmer and a laborer. So one night
who instructed him to sing about the creation of God. So, despite of his lack of formal education, Haman gained the praise due to his miraculous ability to compose beautiful poetry, hymns, and inspired by divine vision. So, through the divine vision, nailado siya sa iyang mga works. Everyone, please listen to the word. Although nailado siya, para siya from illiterate poet into a famous poet in that era. So he is also known as the father, of the Old English poetry, because he is attributed with composing the earliest known English poetry. Yeah. No, he's father of Old English poetry because he attributed the composing the earliest known English poetry. So one of his known works is the Cayman hymns. It is the earliest attested example of Old English language and earliest recorded example of sustained poetry in Germanic language. I'm sorry, but wala na ko nakuha ng ilang So this is based on the Historia Ecclesiastical Amnameron, or the ecclesiastical history of the English people by Saint Bede or the Venerable Bede. Haman is an English monk and historian. He was a herdsman and farmer in town during the early medieval period. Haman was said to be a DJ, so if I already said kanina, he was an illiterate boy, and then because of the divine vision, one day, one day, so all the way sa iya So the second one is Saint Bede. Oh yeah, Saint Bede or Venerable Bede. So he is a monk, scholar, and historian who lived in the kingdom of North Francia in the 7th to 8th century. He is also the father of English history, and one of his known works is the Historia Ecclesiastica Gentis Amnoron, or in English, the Ecclesiastical History of the English people. So, ang sunod anak mga work ni Saint Bede is the Chronicles of the history of England and ancient times to this era, focusing on the spread of Christianity in the region, and also the life of the English people in that era. So that is the third one is Alfred the Great. So it was already mentioned earlier by Mr. Paschas.
Yes.
He was a king. He was a king in that era. So 9th century, king of Bse-English, the kingdom in Anglo-Saxon England. He is not just a king, but he is also a poet and scholar. So kanina eventually found that he is a strong proponent of learning and education. So promote young education and preserving Anglo-Saxon culture and literature during a time of Reformation. So iba ang word isa ko sila sa Vikings. Yeah. So ipaglaban ka ko niya ang iyahang kuan gold para sa iyong he is also a expert or maayo siya in Latin.
Oh, kaya na.
Translated several
words from Latin to Old English. So since he was kanang nasa mura kuan to translate the Latin language into English, wherein para those mga kuan niya sa kanang mga people niya ba nga nasasakupan niya is kanang mas masabtan through his translation. So one of his literary work is the Pastoral Care, where it was written by Pope Gregory, I hope. That is right. So, that's it. So, Pope Gregory. Pope Gregory. Yeah, Gregory died. So, in Latin, Gregorian Apostolates. It is a booklet written by Pope Gregory, but translated by Alfred. It is a guide for bishop and clergy on how to fulfill their pastoral duties effectively. This is for those people na mga priests, monks, yeah.
Wala tabak sa topic.
This name is also given by Anglo-Saxons, which means royal of a king, and both is known for its religious composition. You know that Rami, please help me. Rami, am I right? Rami or Rami? This word. Running, okay. Running inscription. The spell of his name, making him one of the few Old English poets who signed literary creation. So most of his works is actually known for his religious composition, since Anglo-Saxons is ruled are more on Christianity. That era. So he is the only poet that nabili nito ang sign through ay nag-watch siya word, and then gusulat siya ang name niya in the rolling signature. Rolling signature with his name, wherein to those mga next generation is mabalaan niya that word of him was the original. So, most of his works are themes of salvation, divine grace, and human experience, as well as mind. His other So one of his known works is the Faith of Apostles, and Ellen, both in the Versailles book virtually book that was mentioned earlier by Miss Nelly. So the second is the Christ the Sacred and Juliana, both found in the Exeter book, and it was already mentioned by Miss
Wilhelm. Wilhelm is a scholar, a teacher, and also he is a writer from the kingdom of Bse. Oh, ito, Bse is mga word. About the monks buried away and later become the bishop of Sherborne. So he governed the abbot in almost 30 years. And then after the bishop of the Sherborne died, siya ang napili mamuno sa introduce Benedictine rule to secure the rights of election of the abbot by monk themselves. So he introduced the Benedictine rule wherein in that Benedictine rule is to secure the rights of everyone. Monks, mga rights nila, ilang human rights. Monk, okay. I didn't want to know. Monk. Birthday, guys, monk. Why? Ang sunod na yung Benedictine rule is the rights and the ones sa mga basta mga rights. Like, he was one man. He was a yes, yeah. He was a monkey before monk. That's why he secured the rights of mga monkey in the yeah, a pioneer in art of Latin verse among Anglo-Saxon and the author of extant writings in Latin. So one of his known work is the De Laude Virginitatis, or in praise of virginity work. So where he extols, the word extols is honor or glorify the virtues of virginity. Virginity is purity, holiness, and closeness to God. And celibacy. Celibacy is abstaining from marriage and sexual relations. Virtue and practice by clergy, monks, nuns, and other religious leaders. So kaning word niya, word ni Abel is ang sunod na is murag na apply na natin in this generation or in this era na to mga kanang basta priest ka or mga buwan ka ba kanang religious sa religious organization, you are not able to make others babae kanang committed ka into Christ. Ay kanang father ay priest, di ba? Dapat holy sila. Anong dapat ko na sila sa that's why we have one this one this book or this word of is one location na-adapt sa mga people. Adapt sa especially those I guess era. So some of the English poems are a fusion of late classic and philosophical texts. So the longest literary
dialogue between the conversation of Boethius and the Lady philosophy, who is keen to comfort him and guide him through the story, which is makes a remark in the Anglo-Saxon era as it is served as how Boethius became at its habit na siya mamatay, kanya na-accept and na ang Christianity. Then, the next one is the Phoenix and the liberation of Phoenix by language. So, we all know that Phoenix is a mythical bird, and according to the symbolizes, is the rebirth and resurrection. So, it symbolizes the birth and resurrection of the God. So, another one is the short coil derived from the Latin dictionary translations like the panther, the whale, and the partridge. We all know the panther, right? The like jaguar and face, pero what ano siya. So the story of the panther is or called the hunter's meaning is the poem described by symbol Christ because like Christ, he is gentle to the innocent and first to the evil. So the story of the whale is about the captured whale who fleet. Nagpakaloy siya para makabuhi o release from the ocean. So, ang miracle na nahitabo diri is he can speak. He speaks to the people, the person, he all them to release him and set him free. So, about the marriage is, dove, similar siya sa dove marriage, diba? Pag mawala yung partner sa siya, so, the marriage is, ang hope, iyang partner, then mo doon, hindi mo siya, song about the non-lost partner in life. So, the next one is the poetry and life. Firstly, book and contain 4 long narrative poems of saints' lives or biography. Universally, there are 2, the Andreas and Philip, which is tapos kanina. So, first is Andreas. It consists of 1,782 lines long and it discloses 2 of the writing poems like we walk. So, it is the story of St. Andrew and his journey to rescue St. Matthew from the Macedonians. So, the next one is the 8th. It is the story of St. Helena. Helena, the mother of Constantine and her discovery of the true cross. So the book of the cross was popular in Anglo-Saxon England and this poem was instrumental. So according to it, si Helena, the mother of Emperor Constantine, ang naghanap sa true cross. But after the crucifixion of Jesus, ihawag naman siya, gibalhin siya sa yung temple na sa yung hingat. Niyakap ang cross, awa na itong iyakap kung duha ka kids, kawagan nga bird man siya. So si St. Helena ang nakadiscover ako. So in Exeter there are 2. Divided siya sa 2, which is the Gatlang and Juliana. So the Gatlang is a 2 poems about English Saint Gatlang and in 1703. This poem tells the story of Saint Gatlang's life, religious journey, and miracles that shaped him. So Gatlang, ang Gatlang story consists of 2. Nabay siya, Gatlang A and Gatlang B. Ang Gatlang A is about his life earlier before he became a hermit. Hermit is considered as he devoted his life to the God. So the first one, ang Gatlang A is Nilive niya earlier, bago siya naging hermit, nga, ang life niya to is, he was a warrior fight. Then, ano nga to, the second one is Lagasnapi, which is, ang pagka-hermit niya. Yung sa ang iyang struggle nga, pagka-hermit niya, dagay mga struggle niya sa iya, consider niya, di padalaan siya angel, sa God, then, and, sudden, ano po na to, miracle is, natingala sila, namatay siya kalit, tapos natin na siya. So, the next one is Juliana. Juliana is the story of a virgin martyr, Juliana of Nicaea. So, the story of Juliana is about the martyr and Juliana din. Like, na siya shooter, sa pagan, is that the name of Jesus of God. Then, since kay martyr si Juliana, nagkuhan siya maslan niya si Juliana na martyr si Juliana about sa God. So, she refuses. So, pag-refuse niya, gusto ko itong pagan, which is, wag ako sa Christianity. So, sunod na yung kasuko, challenge, or ikuanan para, kung tinuotan na ang Ginoo, test, pagsalig, o test yung pagsalig about God. So, one of her, struggle is, si Juliana, siya sa kumukulong oil ba? Tapos miraculously, na wala siyang scratch. So, di ba, pag mag-prito tao, itlog or something, pampalayo kita para di magsikan. So, sa iya wala din siya yung mga isang-isang sa So, kung ato, nakalaka sila, or katong iyahang kuan, tapos magyapon siya na ito kay God. So, si Juliana, pagkamatay niya, she is beheaded. Ito na po yun. So, the critical thesis manuscript contains two purposes of Old Testament text, which is the long one, Genesis. We all know that Genesis, right? It is the creation of the world. Then, second one is Exodus. Ngunit itong si Moses, isin niya yung people, dito nga niya ang dagat, then ang pagkabuo sa Ten Commandments. In Daniel is the story of wise man na true sa dampo, na dream, na niya, ang iyang pagka-martyr, like Juliana, iyang pagka-martyr sa God. So, ang storya niya is, ang king, sa Babylonia, tapos Korea is a friend. Tapos, naiwan nga, siyempre, yung mga alalay, nasulat ni Daniel. So, ilahang king, ganohan nga, dapat mahawas si Daniel sa one king, close na sila. So, ang ang king, tungkol kay dilibak siya sa atong mga kawan niya nagkuhan kay Daniel. Si Daniel, agong sa lion's den. Then miraculously nga, pagkauma, wala kang kaon si Daniel. So, it is the work of God. So, the novel that covers some and contains 51 to 150 registered following a prose version of the first 20 psalms. So, kami ng mga psalms, is section cover wide range of themes and emotion. They are called prayers for forgiveness, expression, or praise and thanksgiving. Levels and times of distress calls for justice and declaration of trust in God, protection, and guidance. So each psalm reflects the author's personal experience, relationship with God, and the challenges they face. So there's a book on the series from poems entitled Christ, section into Christ first Christ, second Christ, third Christ. So the first Christ is the Advent lyrics, or it is the poem primarily focuses on the Advent, the period of leading up Christmas, the incarnation of the Christ the King. So the second Christ is known as the Ascension or Christ Ascending. This is the departure Christ's departure from earth and his return to divine pagsama o ang paglaog ni Kristo. So, the third Christ is sometimes called the Last Judgment. It is a poem by who possess the Last Judgment, a simple in eschatology. It vividly portrays, explores the concept of right justice, salvation, and consequence of one's action and on that fateful day. So, the last one is Christ on the cross. It is the true title of the poem is Dream of the Road. So Dream of the Road it is the poem of the person who witnessed the crucifixion of God. So he sees how distressed, how gloomy, and how all the people distressed, even if the animals and all of the living things. And that will be all.